Welcome back, class 12, to the online bio classes. We had already started chapter 2, sexual reproduction in plants. Now, today we have to do post-fertilization events. What is post? Post means after or later, isn't it? The one which comes later. So, after double fertilization in plant, you already studied. Double fertilization was first discovered by Navaskin. And what is double fertilization? The process in which in flowering plants, one of the male gamete fuses with the egg cell present in the ovule. The second male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus which is present in the center of embryo sac. So since two male gametes separately fuse with two different cells of the female part, that's why it is called double fertilization. So the events which occur, if you have to write the definition is there in the syllabus, events that occur after double fertilization, like changes of ovule into seed, like formation of endosperm, formation of embryo, endosperm, then development of seed from ovule and fruit from ovary are called post-fertilization events. Okay. Then the next topic which we will see that is there in the syllabus is embryo development. But before that, endosperm is there. Let's complete about what is endosperm. What is endosperm? The development of endosperm, it is a nutritive tissue which is formed by the fusion of one male gamete with the secondary nucleus present in the embryo sac. Development of endosperm precedes means it comes before the development of embryo. Means embryo is formed later, endosperm is developed before that. Okay? And endosperm in dicot plants like beans, this one, mango, etc., in which two cotyledons are present in the seed, endosperm provides, or it is used as a food. Okay? And so at maturity, the seed remains without any endosperm. They are called non-endospermic seeds. Two types of seeds are there. In dicot, the endosperm is minimized or reduced at maturity because they are used up in the germination. They are used as the nutrients for the developing embryo. So such a mature seed without endosperm are called non-endospermic seeds. Whereas in monocots like maize, the endosperm remains even after maturity. So such seeds that contain endosperm even after maturity are called or said to be endospermic seeds. Now next we have to do is types of endosperm. So what is endosperm? It is a nutritive tissue which is formed by fusion of male gamete and female secondary nucleus which is present in the embryos, present in the female ovule. Now next, how many types of endosperm are there? That is there in the syllabus. There are three main types of endosperm. What are they? Nuclear type, cellular type, and alluvial type. All these definitions along with the examples you have to understand. Now what is the nature of ploidy in endosperm? Endosperm is triploid, means having three sets of chromosomes. How? Because it is formed by the fusion of the diploid secondary nucleus. It is diploid, means having two sets of chromosome, which is formed by the fusion of two polar nuclei plus one male gamete, which is haploid. So 2n plus n, that gives rise to the 3n. That is triploid. Okay, so it is triploid, or having three sets of nucleus, which is formed by the fusion of one male gamete with two sets of chromosomes present in the secondary nucleus of the female gametophyte. Okay. Now, during fertilization, double fertilization, you have seen that one male gamete fuses with egg cell, that is the female gamete. The other male gamete, there were two male gametes. The other male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus. So one of them produced the embryo, the other one produced the endosperm. So first we have to study about, on the basis of development, there are three types of endosperm. What are they? Nuclear, cellular, and allovial type. So of this, nuclear endosperm is very much common, found in almost 56% families of the flowering plant have this type of endosperm, nuclear endosperm. Whereas the percentage of cellular endosperm, which is found in the flowering plants, is 25%. 25% of the flowering plants have cellular type of endosperm, and the remaining, that is 19% of the flowering plant families, they contain allovial type of endosperm development. Okay, so first one we will study about the nuclear endosperm. Okay. Okay, next you can see what is nuclear endosperm. Some information I have written. Nuclear endosperm is the first type of endosperm, and where it is found? It is found in polypetalous dicot. You know what is the meaning of polypetalous? A flower which has many petals, and all the petals are free from each other is called polypetalous. Okay, if they remain united, it is called gamopetalous. So where is such type of endosperm development found? It is found in polypetalous dicotyledonous. Dicotyledonous, you already know, like the seeds which has two cotyledons, they are called dicotyledons. Like example is in citrus fruits like orange and all. In Magnifera, the common name is mango. The second point is, in such type of endosperm development, the first few divisions of primary endosperm nucleus. I have shown here, this one is the zygote, this one is primary endosperm nucleus, PEN I have written. So primary endosperm nucleus, this cell will divide. So first few divisions are without the formation of wall. Okay, so the cell wall formation is not accompanied, means only the cell will divide but wall will not get formed around it. So first few divisions are without wall formation, and it takes place later. Either the wall will be formed later, the cell, each and every plant cell has a cell wall, so either this wall will be formed later, or without any wall the nucleus will be there as it is. Okay, it will be dispersed in the whole cytoplasm, this entire cytoplasm area. This nucleus will keep on floating, or they will remain freely. Indefinitely means permanently. Okay, example I have given here, Cocos nucifera, the scientific name of coconut. The watery liquid which is there in the coconut, we check the water is there or not while buying the coconut. That dab it is called in Hindi, the green one also. So it is called the watery liquid endosperm. What is it? The watery liquid is the endosperm only, and it is also known as liquid syncytium. Syncytium means the one which contains many nuclei in it, because many nucleus are there, without cell wall it can be there. So such a cell with many nucleus are called syncytium, and since it is in liquid in shape, that's why called liquid syncytium. Now coconut milk factor, it is present in that coconut milk, that water or the watery liquid or the endosperm. It is very good because it is used as a nutrient medium, because we can use that coconut water in our culture experiments. So whenever we do grow any cells in the lab, in the culture medium, we need some nutrients so that those cells can get the nutrients and they will increase their number. And that is obtained from the coconut milk factor, which is present in the watery liquid endosperm of coconut. Got it? So now the next one which we'll do, this one you can see in the diagram. First one zygote, here zygote is developing and it will develop into embryo. Whereas this primary endosperm nucleus, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay. They are divided or they divide into many nuclei. The nucleus may not have cell wall formation, or if the cell wall is formed, it is formed later on, and if it is not formed, it will remain like a nuclei only permanently or freely indefinitely for permanent. Okay. So now we will study the next one, that is after nuclear endosperm we have the cellular type of endosperm. In cellular type of endosperm, the diagram is not drawn here. Cellular type of endosperm, it is found in dicotyledonous. Here it is dicotyledonous only, but instead of polypetalous, you have to change it into gamopetalous. Okay, so gamopetalous, and example is Adoxa and Verbatium. In development of cellular endosperm, I am talking about the second one, cellular one. You can see here cellular endosperm I have written here. The cell wall is always formed from the very beginning. So whenever the primary endosperm nucleus divides, it divides to form many nuclei with the cell wall formation, and the wall formation commences from the first division only. Like first time the primary endosperm nucleus will divide, then the newly produced cells will have cell wall in them. Understood? And this type of endosperm development is found where? It is found in gamopetalous dicotyledonous. And examples of gamopetalous are Adoxa and Verbatium. Now the next one is halobial, the third one. Halobial endosperm formation is intermediate, means it is found in between the nuclear and cellular type of endosperm development, and it is found in the family or the order Halobi. Halobi is the name of the order of plants. Example of that plant, Asphodelus. The first division of primary endosperm nucleus is followed by formation of a transverse wall, and this divides the embryo sac into two parts. You can see the diagram of the next one which I will draw, the halobial endosperm. The diagram of second one, cellular endosperm, is almost similar. I have not drawn that. Halobial one I am drawing. Like this is the embryo sac. Okay. Now this is the zygote here. Okay. Now this one divides by a transverse wall division occurs, and then there are two. This one is called a smaller one. It is known as the chalazal chamber because it is towards the chalaza end. So this is called chalazal chamber. Chalazal chamber, and this one is towards the micropylar end. So it is called micropylar chamber. So these two chambers are formed by the transverse division of the embryo sac during halobial endosperm formation. This one is a small in size, this one is larger or bigger in size. This one will degenerate, and finally this what we can say, that divides the embryo sac into two parts. It is followed by free nuclear divisions in chalazal chamber, and this region often degenerates. Already I said, okay, the free nuclear divisions in the micropylar chamber is followed by wall formation, and ultimately you find that this type of nucleus will be formed in which the embryo is shown here, okay, and this one is the endosperm. Endosperm will be here, this one. And look at this diagram, okay. This type of endosperm development occurs. It is in case of halobial endosperm. Got it? So now next topic which we have to do is the embryo. Okay, now next you can see the topic is what is embryo. After fertilization, the zygote is formed. What is zygote? Zygote is a diploid cell produced by the fusion of male and female gametes. This zygote will change into embryo, and the process of development of mature embryo from a diploid zygote, diploid means having two sets of chromosomes, is called embryogenesis. So zygote, after a period of rest, or you can say actually not rest, there is reorganization of cells. The cells are reorganized, develops into mature embryo. and the formation of embryo is different in monocots and dicots. In dicotyledonous plants, there are two cotyledons attached to the embryonal axis, whereas in monocotyledon, there is a single cotyledon attached at its apex of embryonal axis during embryo development. Now, the development, we can find the differences between the embryos of monocots and dicots due to the presence of one or two cotyledons and the position of cotyledons. Now, next one is during the early stages of development, like in the beginning, when the monocot and dicot embryos are developing from the zygote, till globular stage, almost they are similar. So, we are talking about now the development of dicot embryo and monocot embryo, which is there in the syllabus. So, when the embryo develops in monocot and dicot, till globular stage, they are almost similar. But later on, the changes are marked or seen. So, now we have to study the next topic, that is development of dicot embryo. With the help of diagram, we have to do development of dicot embryo. Similarly, development of monocot embryo also. And this diagram is like this. First of all, there is a diploid zygote. So I have written here zygote because embryo develops from the zygote only. Now this zygote, it will divide by a transverse wall. Transverse, try to understand the meaning. Transverse means like this. Like if I take a cell, this is transverse division. If I take a cell and divide like this, it is called longitudinal division. So this one is called transverse. Transverse. And this one is called longitudinal. Longitudinal. Longitudinal division, transverse division. Okay. So we have to come across these two terms again and again. So zygote undergo transverse division like this, and it produces two cells. Now two cells are formed. You can see that 1, 2. What are the name given? This one is called the basal cell. Basal cell, and it is written as CB in your book. The diagram which is there, CB means C is coming first. Basal cell, and this one, it is called apical cell because it is at the tip. Apical cell. So we can write apical cell means CA. CB, CA. Got it? So this is the first stage, number A, that is zygote. Stage number B, that is the division of zygote by a transverse wall into two apical cells towards the apex, and later side, like we can say towards the micropylar end, we have the basal cell, that is CB and CA. Understood? Now the next stage, there is further division of this basal cell into two cells with the help of a transverse wall is laid down. Now this basal cell divides into two parts. Again you can see in the diagram. It is called CA and CI. This one is called CI, and this one is known as CM, I and M. Okay, and this one is of course the same only, CA. CA means apical cell, there is no division, but the basal cell again further divides with the help of transverse wall formation. This wall is formed and it divides the basal cell, like in the middle one wall will be formed and two more cells are produced by this basal cell. What are they? CI and CM. Up to CI and CM you have understood. Now you can see in the next step what happens. This is transverse wall formation in the basal cell. At the same time, the apical cell, there is a longitudinal wall formation. So if I do like this, then what will happen? Two cells will be formed in the apical cell. So once again I am trying to draw the diagram like this. This one is CI, this one is CM. Now this one is divided like this to form two cells. This CA is divided into, now it appears like inverted T. Inverted T means like this is the T. Inverted T means like this. Why? Because it is broad here at the base, and this one is apex is straight like this. Understood now? So this one is A, B, C. Next stage is D. Okay, up to D it is completed. Now these two cells will further undergo division. Okay, further division will be there, so it will form 4 cell stage. So next stage I am going to draw like this. 1, 2, this one, and this one. Now 4 cells are formed. 1, 2, 3, 4 cells. This is called tetra. Number E stage, no? It is called tetra stage, or what is the word used? Quadrant stage. Instead of tetra, the word quadrant is used. Quadra means 4. It is called quadrant stage. Quadrant stage. Okay. Now 4 cells are formed. Quadrant stage. And in the next step, what will happen? Number E. Now these 4 cells, all of them will undergo further division to form octant stage. Octant means 8. So in the next stage, at the same time, so now you can see like this, the cell is there. This one 8 stage will be there. Means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That stage is called octant. O-C-T-A-N-T. And here the others will remain as it is. That is CI, CM. But now division of this one will also occur. At the same time, these are the basal cells. So basal cells, that is CI and CM, undergo at the same time. The 2 basal cells, that is CM and CI, already I had marked CI and CM, means when the quadrant and the octant is formed, at that time only these 2 cells will undergo further divisions, and they will produce a long cluster of cells in the form of like a suspensor of 6 to 10 cells will be formed. So I am trying to draw that suspensor also so that you can understand. CICM. Now suspensor means, first of all I will draw now suspensor like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, long neck like. So that is called suspensor. Suspensor. How many cells are there in suspensor? 6 to 10 cells are there. Suspensor contains 6 to 10 cells. How they are produced? They are formed by the division of basal cells CI and CM. And here at the base you can see the globular structure is there. Now this globular structure, which is made up of many cells, it is known as hypophysis. Hypophysis. So what word is used for that? It is called hypophysis. Okay. So the distal merged cell of suspensor is functioning as hypophysis. So up to D, E, F, G stage we have reached. Now the next stage is the hypophysis stage. Up to here it is reached. In the next stage you will find that the mature embryo, it consists of 2 cotyledons. Now there will be depression. That globular part is there now, this one, hypophysis, or depression. Like if I no place, I will just rub it to make it clear. Hope you have understood. It's very important to understand this one, development of dicot and monocot embryo. Okay. So once again, first of all there was zygote. No, the zygote cell divided by transverse wall into 2 cells, apical cell and basal cell, which is marked as CA and CB. Now this basal cell further divides into 2, CI and CM, and apical cell divides by longitudinal wall formation into 2. Now again this apical cell, which is in 2 stages, further divides to form quadrant, that is 4 cell stage. This one further divides to form 8 cell stage, which is called octant. And the basal cells CI and CM, they undergo a series of divisions to form 6 to 10 cell stage, which is called suspensor. And this one, that is the lowermost end or the distal last cell of that suspensor, it act like a hypophysis. Okay, so what is hypophysis? Be clear about that hypophysis. The distal most cell of suspensor, that is the last cell of the suspensor, it will act like a hypophysis. Okay, and after that a depression will appear, like a depression will appear in that hypophysis, and it will form like this structure. Okay, what is this structure called? It is known as these 2 are the cotyledons, which are raised because it is dicot. Then here you see that many cells are there. Okay, some of them will act as plumule, others will act as radicle and the embryonic axis. So what all diagram is there? Shoot apex is there. This part you can mark it as shoot apex. In your book the diagram is there. You just practice and learn it. Shoot apex. After that we have the hypocotyle. What is hypocotyle and epicotyle? I will say. Hypocotyle means the part of the embryonal axis which is present below the cotyledons, and it is the hypocotyle which gives rise to the root system. The hypocotyle terminates at the lower end. This is the one which ends into radical or the root tip that gives rise to the root system. Similarly, we have epicotyle. Epicotyle is the part of the embryonal axis which is present above the cotyledons. It gives rise to the shoot apex, that is the formation of plumule, which gives rise to the shoot system in the plants. Okay, and the root cap or the radical is protected by root cap, whereas the shoot tip, that is plumule, is protected by plumule is protected by the coleoptile, we can say, and coleorhiza. These two names are there. Coleorhiza is the protective covering of root tip, and coleoptile is the protective covering of shoot tip. Okay, so when the seed germinates, the plumule gives rise to the shoot system and the radical gives rise to the root system. Alright, now next we have to study is development of monocot seed. Okay, now look at the diagram which I have drawn. Development of monocot embryo. How the development occurs? It starts with a zygote because embryo develops from zygote. So zygote divides by a transverse division into two cells, the apical cell Ca and the basal cell, that is Cb. This is the basal cell, this is the apical cell. Now this basal cell is further divides to form two cells, that is, what are the two cells? These two, Ci and M. Upper one is Ci, middle one is M, and this one apical cell. It also undergo divisions to form a quadrant stage. Like first it will divide into two by longitudinal wall formation, then by the transverse wall formation into four cell stage, which is called quadrant stage. This is the apical cell which has developed into the quadrant stage, whereas this one, the M, is here. Now the Ci further divides, I have written here, Ci divides into N and O further, N and O. This one divides into or split into two cells, N and O. Okay. Now this N and O, each of them form different parts. Now this one, in the quadrant stage, the four cells, they give rise to two parts, I and I dash. Two parts are formed. I dash, they give rise to the upper part of the cotyledon. Okay. So I have written here both what is the function of I and I dash cells, which are formed by the this one. What is the function of I? It forms the lower part of cotyledon, and I dash forms the upper part of the cotyledon as well as hypocotyle and plumule. Okay. Now here two cells were formed, M and N. What are their functions? M forms the peribulum and some part of the root cap, whereas N cell, which is produced, this one, it forms the remaining part of the root cap. Okay. In maize plant, in the members of grass family, the cotyledon is called scutellum. Okay. And what is coleorhiza? Coleorhiza is the protective cap present around the root cap, and coleoptile is the protective cap present around the ovule. Now next we have to do is what is parthenogenesis. It is there in the syllabus. Generally we find that after fertilization the zygote is formed, and the zygote develops into embryo, and the embryo develops into a living plant. In animals also it is same, but parthenogenesis is defined as development of female gamete into a new individual. That is, the female egg cell will directly result in the formation of a new organism without fertilization. Okay, so parthenogenesis is classified into two types on the basis of mode of reproduction, and the second one is on the basis of cytological characteristics. On the basis of mode of reproduction, two types of parthenogenesis is there: accidental parthenogenesis, and the second one is normal parthenogenesis. In accidental parthenogenesis, similarly, you can say that plant normally reproduces sexually, but by sexual method but occasionally the unfertilized egg develops into the embryo. But in normal parthenogenesis, the mode of reproduction is normal. Okay. Now next one we have that parthenocarpy. Don't confuse the term parthenocarpy and parthenogenesis. Okay. So what is parthenocarpy? There are some plants which are formed without fertilization. So unfertilized egg, the fruits which are formed without fertilization are called parthenocarpic fruits, and this phenomena is called parthenocarpy. So what is the definition of parthenocarpy? You will say parthenocarpy is the process by which fruits develop without fertilization. Such fruits are called parthenocarpic fruits, and they are beneficial to us, to the horticulture science, because the fruits which are produced by this method, they have more edible part as compared to the fruits which grow normally by normal method. Okay, so we can say that these parthenocarpic fruits are better than the normal fruits. Okay, now how it is caused? It is caused by absence of pollination. When pollination will not be there, then how come the male gametes will be transferred to the female stigma? That will result in no fertilization, or due to sterility, or due to failure of fertilization. Even if the gamete has reached, that is, the male pollens have reached, then also fertilization was not caused. Now what is incompatibility? I will just say all these points. Incompatibility means unmatching. Generally you know that the anthers are deposited on the stigma by different agents like wind, water, insects, and those anthers which are living, they will grow the pollen tube and they will carry the male gamete up to the embryo sac and cause fertilization. But even if the pollen tube is living, it has the capacity to cause fertilization. Sometimes it fails to bring about fertilization in some plants, although it can bring fertilization in the other flowers. Means such plants are incompatible. It can be of two types, intraspecific and interspecific. Means within the members of the same family or species also this type of incompatibility can arise, whereas it can arise between the members of two different species also. Okay. Now next one we have to do is, which is there in the syllabus, what is the biological significance of incompatibility? Is not mentioned, so I am not saying. What is polyembryony? Polyembryony means generally you know that one fruit is formed from one embryo. After fertilization, the ovule changes into seed and the ovary develops into fruit. Generally, one ovary develops in each embryo. Okay, but sometimes more than one embryo may be present in a fruit. And the example is, it was first reported by a scientist called Antony van Leeuwenhoek in citrus fruits in 1719, that is in orange. After that we have found polyembryony in many other species of plants. Okay, so what is the definition? The definition is normally a single embryo is present in each seed. Okay, normally a single embryo is present in each seed, but sometimes normally a single embryo is present in each seed, but sometimes more than one embryo can be present in a seed. So presence of more than one embryo in a seed is called polyembryony, and the example is orange and many other citrus fruits we can say. Now next is, what are the different types of polyembryony? That you don't have to study, it's not only definition is asked, but what is neurochrome theory proposed by Haberland? It states that the degenerating nucellus act as a source of stimulus to the nearby cells, adjacent cells of the ovule to form adventitious or adventive embryos. The second theory is recessive gene theory, which was given by Capert, says that polyembryony is a recessive genetic character, okay, which is controlled by multiple genes. Now what is the importance or significance of polyembryony? The importance of polyembryony is, it is used in horticulture and plant breeding, and It provides uniform seedling of the parent line as it is obtained by vegetative propagation. Now next topic which we have to do is apomixis. Okay, next topic which is there in the syllabus is apomixis. Generally we know that sexual method of reproduction is found in plants, but if we can substitute means the process of substitution of sexual process by asexual methods in plants is called apomixis. And the plants which are grown by this method, they are called apomictic plants. Now it is of three types: non-recurrent, recurrent and adventive type. You don't have to study the details of all, only the definition is asked in the syllabus. Now next one is, what is the fate of formation of fruit? You know that fruit is formed from flower only. Now which part of the flower gives to which part of the fruit? Ovary develops into fruit. Ovary wall changes into pericarp, that is the wall of the fruit, and the ovule develops into seed. Funicle, which is present in the stalk, is called funicle. It develops in the stalk of the seed. Hilum remains hilum only. Nucellus, which is a parenchymatous tissue present in the ovule, develops into perisperm that provides food. And outer integument, all these are parts of ovule, changes into testa. Testa is the outermost cover of seed coat. And tegment, the inner layer of seed coat, is formed by inner integument. Egg cell develops into embryo, and secondary nucleus develops into endosperm. Now, one more thing is there. What is fruit? Fruit is a ripened ovary which is formed by the development of. It is formed by the ovary of the flower. And you know that how many types of fruits are there? Two types: true and false fruit. The fruit which develops from the ovary of the flower is called true, like mango, guava and all. But the fruit sometimes develops from other parts of the flower, like thalamus in apple. Such fruits which develop from any other part of the flower except the ovary are called false fruit. And the fruit outermost covering is called pericarp. It has three layers. Outer layer is called exocarp, middle layer is called mesocarp, inner layer is called endocarp. The yellow pulpy part which we eat in the mango, it is the mesocarp, whereas the outer cover is epicarp and the inner hard coat is known as endocarp. Alright, now next we have to study about the seed. The seed is a mature ovule and it contains a baby plant called embryo, which has different parts, like outermost seed coat has two layers. The outer layer is testa, inner layer is tegment. Then seed has a tiny pore called micropyle, so that water can enter inside it, as well as oxygen can also go during germination of seed. Seed also contain cotyledons as stored food materials, which is required during as a nutrient for the developing baby plant, because they need energy which is supplied from those cotyledons. Then next, what is dicot and monocot seed? The seeds which contain one cotyledon, like maize, they are called monocotyledon seed, whereas seeds which contain two cotyledons, like beans, pea, such seeds having two cotyledons are called dicot seeds. Then albuminous and ex-albuminous. Like sometimes in monocot seeds, the seeds which contain albumin, the presence or absence of endosperm, on the basis of endosperm is present or not present. Like in monocots, as I said, maize seed, the endosperm is used during germination of seed. It is used by the germinating seed, so it does not remain. Such seeds in which endosperm is absent are called non-endospermic seeds, or also known as non-endospermic or ex-albuminous seeds. The other word used is ex-albuminous, whereas in dicot seeds like beans and all, the cotyledons remains, or the endosperm remains. In dicot seed, the endosperm is absent. In dicot seed, the endosperm is absent, not monocot. And they are called, dicot seeds are known as non-endospermic, whereas monocot seeds contain endosperm, that is maize seed has endosperm present because it is not consumed, and such seeds are known as endospermic seed or albuminous seeds. So this much is there in your syllabus up to this endosperm and all. You can, as homework, Once you watch the video, just write your name in the comment section so that very few of you are watching, because I have seen in the previous videos also hardly 5, 6, 7, not more than that. All of them are not able to see. I don't know what may be the reason, but try to complete the questions also. If you don't have the book, you can get it from the school. It's already available, I think, or you can use the books which you have, and try to complete this chapter, because you will have one test, maybe most probably next week, based on chapter 2, and then we'll continue with the next chapter, that is human reproduction, in the next week. Okay? Thank you.